When you look around, it appears that the cost of virtually everything is rocketing, and what we're seeing more and more is that people are looking for ways to make money online. For instance, terms such as make money online and side hustle have rocketed in recent months, which clearly shows that more and more people are looking into starting a side hustle than ever before. But before you do so, I think it's important to discuss the benefits and drawbacks of this. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about reasons why I personally do not think it's the best thing to do to start a side hustle. Now, at this point, I'm sure you guys are wondering, who am I? Well, hi everybody, I'm Aaron. I'm somebody who's been able to grow my eBay store in the past 4 months to a point from making 0 sales to now making about £10,000 in sales per month. So clearly I have a few credentials, especially at the moment when it comes to side hustles and making money online. But here's the thing, side hustles come with a certain mindset, and I think this is what holds a lot of people back. Now, obviously, side hustles are not necessarily something that people want to do, as it is inherently human nature that people want to do as little work as possible. I'd happily agree with that, but that's arguably where the problems come in with side hustles. Because side hustle often means part-time, and part-time often means part-time effort. And this is obviously a problem because, unlike in a job, if you're looking to start a side hustle, you are going to be the manager of that business or that project, and that requires a lot more accountability. And the thing is, to do this part-time and have this as a second project on top of your job is actually very difficult. If you have a long set business plan, this is not going to be a problem and you can still make it work. After all, not everybody has every hour free, and if you need to do a job as well as start your side hustle, there's nothing wrong with that at all. But the problem that I am trying to acknowledge here is that when many people come into a side hustle, they think it's something that they can do for an hour a day, 2 hours a day and get rich. Admittedly, I do believe it is a case that if you want to make £20 a day, £30 a day, you probably could do 1 to 2 hours. But when you do a side hustle, it has to take a certain amount of your time and you have to be dedicated to it. And that's where a lot of people struggle with. Because I would say, in my opinion, if I wanted to make some money in a fair and safe way, and I had a bit more time, I wouldn't recommend getting a side hustle because it's a lot more stress than you probably have signed up for. It might make sense to actually just get another part-time job if you're looking to make ends meet. The obvious point that a lot of you guys will be thinking now is, if you get a part-time job, you'll be very tired. And here's the thing, if you start a side hustle, you'll probably be very tired, very stressed, and very underwhelmed at first, because that is sadly how it works. You can make brilliant things of your side hustles, but they're not going to happen overnight, and you have to treat this as a proper business. When you get into your side hustle, you need to ask, is this a business that I really want to be in, and am I treating this like it is a business? And if you do want to see this as a business, if you do see it as your escape route from your 9 to 5 or your job, the question is, how seriously are you going to take that? Because a side hustle is not something that requires just an hour a day and it's just going to keep growing, because that is not how it works. Progressively over time, it requires more and more time. That is why people quit their jobs to focus on their business. And that's where that accountability element from earlier comes into this. For instance, I know that today I've done my listings on eBay, which is great, but from now I have to go on to do listings on several other sites. And if I don't do these listings, I'm not going to get paid on those other sites, so it's unlikely that I'm going to make as many sales as I possibly could do, and I won't scale the businesses on that end of things. But I think this is a problem that we're seeing at the moment. So many people nowadays on the internet, through courses which advertise massive results with hardly any work, people fall into that and believe it is something that's achievable. Now, in some businesses, you have to do less work than others, and that is true. And maybe you can make it big doing 1 hour a day, but chances are that's not the case. You're not going to make £1,000 a day working 1 hour, unless you have some insane skill set. And if you're looking to start a side hustle and you've come onto Google or YouTube to do so, you probably don't have a skill set that you know that you can immediately market, which means that you'll need to work on your skill set to get to that point, and at that point you'll be working again more than an hour a day. Now, I don't say this to crush anybody's dreams, obviously. I think anybody trying to better themselves in business is a great thing, but that is what we're dealing with here. A side hustle is not just an easy way to make money, so you have to reevaluate this before you actually get into it. No matter where you want the side hustle to be, if you want it to be above £100 a day, which most people probably will, because that is basically a decent wage here in England, if you want it to be above £100 a day, you're probably not going to be able to work 30 minutes a day, an hour a day, unless you have some amazing skill set or you're willing to learn as time goes on, which is going to require some time invested into the business for you to actually gain that knowledge to begin with. So I wanted to make this video quickly because I think it is a point that we needed to touch upon. As somebody who has experience going from effectively zero to being a part-time eBay seller and making about 10,000 a month, the thing is, as this goes on, my amount of time into the business also goes in. My amount of stock behind the camera goes up, my amount of effort making things for the business work goes up, and the amount of stress goes up. That's not a bad thing, but you have to be aware of this. These people who tell you that they make £10,000 a day or something like that, it probably is true, but they have had to work up to that point. You're not going to jump into a business on your first day, on your first month, probably even on your first year, and be able to make £1,000 a day. It's unlikely. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's not very likely, especially if you don't have some amazing skill set to work with. So please don't take this video in the wrong way. I do still think it's a good thing for everybody to start a side hustle, but I think this new mindset that people are coming in with of a side hustle, working an hour a day, living on a beach and becoming very rich is somewhat unrealistic, especially for beginners. That's just not how it works. You can make much better results than you can with your 9 to 5 or your part-time job, but a full-time income for at least the first 12 months is going to require a full-time effort. We're going to talk more about this in a future video, but hopefully this one has been useful and helpful for now. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.